Welcome back to Sports by GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Jeremy Lapidus. If you are just tuning in, we have now broken down picks number 1 to pick 23 in the NFL draft that is upcoming tonight. We are going to finish off our mock draft in this segment. Go back and take a look at the other 23 picks if you are curious what your team is doing, what trades I have, and we'll talk a little bit more about possible trades coming up in just a second. But before we finish off our mock draft, remember, if you would like to be an even bigger part of the show than you already are, all you need to do is go to gsmcpodcast.net. Leave a tip or donation with a message in it. That message will pop up on the bottom of the screen for you, me, and everybody else around the world to see. All you need to do is go to the website on the screen right now. That's gsmcpodcast.net. We appreciate anything that you do give. We appreciate you guys sticking around and listening. We appreciate you all for tuning in. So, without further ado, let's just finish off this mock draft, yeah? Like I was saying, we have gotten through pick 23, which, as of right now, is the Vikings pick. I have them trading up to 5, with the Chargers giving up 11 and 23 to go and make that move. So the Chargers are the last pick we have gone over at 23. They've just taken Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. The Cowboys are on the clock next, and they need offensive line. They've lost Tyron Smith to the Jets. They let him walk in free agency. They go get the big guy, Amarius Mims. He has some injury concerns, but he is a huge, huge offensive lineman. You can go plug and play him here. He is a very special talent. His size is... I mean, you go look up his height and weight. It is crazy. Coming out of Georgia, again, injury concerns are there, which is why he's falling as far as 24. If he was fully healthy, I believe he would go as high as 15 to the Jets, where I have them making a trade with the Colts. Amarius Mims to the Cowboys at 24. At 25, the Packers are an interesting spot. They're rebuilding their offensive line here, and I think right now the offensive line is still the best spot for them to go. They're, like I said, it's a very deep offensive lineman class. I have the Packers taking Tyrese Fuaga out of Oregon State to replace that hole at the left side. You know, Bakhtiari is gone. He hasn't really played in the last couple seasons, but he's gone now. You get an offensive lineman to help protect Jordan Love, to help build around the new Josh Jacobs that you've brought in. Give your quarterback more time in the pocket. You get Tyrese Fuaga. He's going to be a big guy, help you out in the offensive line department. Buccaneers at 26, I have taking Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson is a really interesting prospect. He is very athletic and fast, and if you watch him, the way that he gets low, it's almost like he goes horizontal to the ground when he does his pass rushing. The Buccaneers need more pass rushing. They also could go for a corner here. I've seen a lot of people mocking corners to the Bucs. There are a lot of great corners out there, and I don't quite have them taken here because they need pass rush too. You still have your corners for at least one more season, and that's something that you can address in the offseason once some of your corners do decide to leave, or you can re-sign them. They're on the franchise tag right now, so we'll figure that. The Bucs will figure that out later. I have them taking Chop Robinson out of Penn State. He's just fast and can get to the quarterback in a hurry. You know, you have Vita Vea eating them up on the inside. If you have a guy that can come around the outside quickly, it's going to wreak havoc on opposing offenses and quarterbacks and offensive lines. So Chop Robinson I think is just a good fit for the Buccaneers. I have him going 26 here towards the end of the first round. 27, the Cardinals, again, they need offensive line help. Graham Barton is the best available at this point. He can play any position on the offensive line. He's more suitable to be a center or a guard, but we've seen him be one of the best players, and he was playing on Duke all of last season, and he was playing on the tackle spot. So he's a really special talent at offensive line because you can play him at any of the offensive line positions. It's really rare to find. He's really good at all of them. A little bit undersized, but he'll be fine. I've heard a lot of Jason Kelsey comps in Graham Barton, and it's a pretty good guy to be comped to. So I have the Cardinals grabbing him here at 27. At 28, we have Cooper DeJean going to the Bills. There's a lot of talk of the Commanders trading back into the first to go get an offensive lineman. I could see that happening. I don't have it mocked right now. There's a lot of talk of the Chiefs maybe trading out of that 32 spot. There's a lot of trades that could happen in this bottom five of the draft. Just a team that really wants a guy that doesn't really want to give up too much or move a little further up in the draft, help control that fifth year option instead of taking them in the second and losing that option. But the Bills I have here taking Cooper DeJean after they lost both of their safeties and their big corner in Tre'Davious White. They need secondary help. Cooper DeJean is a guy that can play safety and corner. He's versatile in that way. He wants to come in as a safety. He wants to come in as a corner. He could play boundary corner. We'll see how that goes. If it doesn't work, you can plug and play him there at safety. There's openings all across this Bills secondary for him to go plug and play, get a spot, get some playing time. So I have the Bills taking him here at 28. The Lions, along the same lines. They need a corner bad. They need a corner. I have him taking Kool-Aid McKinstry. He is a little hurt. He'll be fine. Come back, play for the Lions. Lions draft. The Lions are the host city. They've been busy recently. Like I referenced earlier, they paid Penei Sewell. They paid Amon-Ra St. Brown yesterday. Kool-Aid McKinstry to help shore up that secondary is going to be a huge get for them. Something that would be absolutely huge for a team like the Lions that have been struggling on pass defense for a little while. The Ravens here at 30, I think this is a spot where the Commanders might come up and trade, try to get the last of the top tier offensive linemen. Tyler Guyton is who I have the Ravens taking. They need to replace Morgan Moses, who was traded to the Jets. Again, Ravens, very good team. I could see the Commanders putting a package together to go get an offensive lineman like Tyler Guyton. I don't have that mocked here, but I do have the Ravens taking Tyler Guyton here at 30. And now we are reaching the bottom of our draft. There's 2 picks left. And the 49ers are the one that gave me maybe the most trouble in all of this draft because the 49ers are such a complete team. There aren't a lot of needs. They could use an offensive lineman, but at the position that they're at, they aren't quite in a position to get one of those top-tier offensive linemen. You could see them trade. There's been a lot of talks about trading Brandon Ayuk, and if they do that, maybe they grab one of those wide receivers at the end of the draft. I don't have them trading Brandon Ayuk in this mock. If they do, I expect them to take a wide receiver here. There's plenty of great receivers available. Xavier Worthy is one. Xavier Legette is another. There's a lot of really great receivers out there. Troy Franklin, a lot of really good receivers that you can take here at the end of the first. But as it stands now, I have them taking a corner. I have them taking Ennis Rakestraw Jr. He is a long corner, and with the expiring corner depth on the 49ers, those guys are fine, but they only have 1-year contracts. You can't sign both of them. And you could always upgrade at that position. That was one of their weaker positions all season long. Their pass rush was amazing. Their linebacker core was amazing. Their safeties were really good. Their corners and their pass defense, when the pass rush wasn't getting there, was a little bit of an issue. So you now get a guy, Ennis Rakestraw Jr., fill up that corner depth, and we have hit pick 32. Pick 32, the Chiefs need a receiver. Rashee Rice is going through his legal issues, not sure if he's going to be on the field or not at all this season. You can go get a guy in Xavier Worthy who you can kind of use as pseudo Tyreek Hill, and the reason that I'm saying this is because of his speed, I know, and he doesn't quite do all the same things that Tyreek Hill does, but you get a speedy guy. Patrick Mahomes is the arm to get it to him. He just set a combine record. There's a lot of great receivers out there that the Chiefs could be taking. Plenty of them to go around. You talk about Adonai Mitchell, also out of Texas. Keon Coleman from Florida State. There's a lot of really good wide receivers that people could take here. and that the Chiefs could take here, and I expect them to take at least one of them here at the end of the first round. I have them taking Xavier Worthy because of his speed. Speed's a game changer. Speed wins you games. We've seen it so many times recently. I have the Chiefs taking Xavier Worthy at 32. So that right there is my mock draft. I'll run through the names real quick for you guys before we end this third segment. Caleb Williams 1 to the Bears, Drake May 2 to the Commanders, Jaden Daniels 2 to the Commanders, Drake May 3 to the Patriots, Marvin Harrison 4 to the Cardinals, J.J. McCarthy to the Vikings in a trade. At 5, the Vikings give up both of their first-round picks. The Giants get Malik Neighbors at 6. The Titans get Jewalt at 7. The Falcons get Dallas Turner at 8. Romo Dunze to the Bears at 9. Brock Bowers to the Colts at 10 in a trade with the Jets, which is a pick swap and a third-round pick. Chargers get Liatu Latu at 11. Broncos grab their quarterback in Michael Penix at 12. 13, Teron Arnold to the Raiders. Saints get the offensive lineman at 14, Olu Fashanu. Jets get their offensive lineman after the trade, and 15 with Troy Fautanu. Seahawks, 16, Jared Verse. Kenyon Mitchell to the Jaguars at 17. Byron Murphy to the Bengals at 18. Johnny Newton to the Rams. J.C. Latham, to the Steelers at 20. Jackson Powers Johnson, Dolphins, 21. 22, the Eagles get Nate Wiggins. Chargers get Brian Thomas Jr. at 23. The Cowboys get Amarius Mims at 24. Talise Fauga to the Packers at 25. Chop Robinson to the Bucks at 26. Graham Barton, Cardinals at 27. The Bills get Cooper DeJean at 28. The Lions get Kool-Aid McKinstry at 29. Tyler Guyton to the Ravens at 30. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. to the 49ers at 31. And last but not least, Xavier Worthy goes 32 to the Chiefs. That is my first round mock draft. We'll see what happens tonight. Lots of stuff could change, lots of different draft day scenarios, lots of different trades that could still happen. Appreciate everybody for sticking with me through that mock draft. I know that took a little bit. But in our fourth and final segment, we're going to move into the NBA. We're going to talk about some of the action from last night. The Celtics lose after just getting shot out of the building by the Miami Heat, and the Thunder come back in loud fashion. They just dominate the Pelicans. So we'll talk about those games and more coming up in the fourth and final segment here on Sports by GSMC Podcast Network.